What up, everybody? It's Ponter here, and today we've got a match mode game played on Seaside. And the theme of this is how to throw a game. And spoiler alert, there's gonna be a big throw in this. Like one of the biggest. Very disappointing, really. Like very rarely do I play this game and walk away with it being so pissed off at the at losing a game, and so this is just a normal Seaside game, and here's the teams. Nothing. I'm not even gonna comment on the first 5-10 minutes of it. It's pretty standard. It's a 4v4. These are the teams. Like they're even teams on paper. The interesting thing is like Peru, who's usually an air player, is playing inf, and these we don't really care about playing optimal positions, but in this case, Peru's on inf, and we're gonna see the consequences of that. And again, it's like a normal game. I'm just gonna fast forward it. We're late on the one thing to note. We were late on the drops by like 10 seconds, but that's not even a big deal. We managed to secure town and beach, and also disrupt gas stations, so things are going well. And you can just note, like, we get a pretty commanding control of town. Drops are going in, but things start to fall apart, and I think it's where I think there was a breakdown of communications, and it's difficult it's difficult to play with people who don't communicate at all. There's like language differences, and there's also like people who don't listen. It's more frustrating to play with a player who doesn't listen and doesn't appreciate a few important things, like we will see why, but people who don't understand the how to play the game at a high level, and don't listen to people who know how. Like, I rather have a noob who a complete noob who listens to me than somebody who's competent and capable but doesn't listen to me. I've been in games with J-Man and myself, and we have two very new players, and we've beaten much better teams just because those two or three very new players just listen to the shit we sell them, and they just act like they listen. and it's great. And you'll see we fall behind in the drops, and we throw away a lot of drops offensively, and it's out of the I think we wanted to, like, I wanted to put them down fast, just because winning games fast is very good. So I throw a lot of drops over here and try to soften up the forts, assuming that we're going to hold town with inf. But they relentlessly pick off all the inf that we have here. And Peru goes, he's not an inf player, so he doesn't really, like, you can't have no inf presence in town. Like, there's one sniper, that's it. I have more drops covering town than he does, and he's going APC. He's trickling in guys with APCs. Like, this is what you do with the last 2,000 reinforcement points, not like your first 2,000 reinforcement points. Like, note there's no sniper here, which I'm asking for. There's no sniper up here. Usually you put like a reg inf here. Usually you have at least, this should be chock full of reg inf and AT inf. This should be chock full with reg inf and AT inf. And also, and instead we're throwing away airbornes up here to points that haven't even been softened up. And dicking around with APC, like a forward APC just getting BTFO'd. And right here, it's fine to get wiped out as inf. Like, I get wiped out as inf all the time. But what you do is, you go and spawn like 3 reg inf and you run them in, and then you go and spawn a sniper and you put him right here, and then you choose your spawn over here, you put a sniper here to defend, and then you beg your teammates for TA. But instead, what Peru chooses to do, which is a cardinal sin, absolute cardinal sin is he switches roles. He switches roles to armor, which is, you know, and I want to talk about this in detail. Like, in a 4v4, you don't switch role. You don't double up on roles. It's actually, like, against the rules. Like, there's gentleman rules, you know. These are obviously aren't tournament games or anything, but in pretty much any tournament that ever did 4v4s, you weren't allowed to double up on roles. And it makes sense. Like, imagine starting a game with triple air and just air banging the team, and then one inf player goes and caps the whole map. Like, it prevents stupid shit like that. But even like, these are match modes, so like there are no rules technically. There are rules of logic, and it simply, like, you can't win Seaside without infantry. Even if your infantry is shitty, like, I'd rather have a shitty inf player than no inf player at all. And Peru's not even a shitty inf player. Like, I don't understand why you would ever switch. Like, no one has ever switched roles on me. Like, I played this game quite a bit this year. We played a lot of match modes games this year, or I guess in 2020, let's say. Never has anybody switched off inf in the middle of a 4v4. Even, like, the dumbest noob, like, I played with some really stupid noobs. No one's ever done that before. And, like, Peru is known for switching roles because he plays air a lot, and air, it kind of makes sense to, you know, switch roles every once in a while when you get wiped or something. But to switch roles in the middle of a Seaside game, we're so close to winning. All we have to do to put them down is lock down town and keep fighting over beach, and we'll win the game. But he goes APCs and immediately gets BTFO'd by air. We have no line of sight, so we can't control the air. Like, J-Man has no hope of controlling the air ever again. Their inf player can run riot. He's gonna outdrop us. And it's GG. Like, we even though we have like a 90% victory, it's GG. And I just stopped caring at this point. Like, I saw that he switched. I was like, I noticed, okay, we're losing. That's fine. Like, we have a huge lead on them. We can come back from this. Like, oh, our inf player got wiped out. That's fine. And then I noticed that he had gone to armor, and yeah, there's no coming back from that. Like, you lose your drop cooldown. You're gonna lose the drop war immediately. Like, even if we were losing the drop war, first of all, because I was wasting TA, that should have been going to the inf player, and the inf player was doing the dumb drops over here. Like, you have to be smart with your drops. Like, both of us were doing drops where we shouldn't have, when we should have just been dropping here. And look here, there's nothing. They're getting drops all in our back. Nothing can stop them. Again, there's no sniper here. There's no sniper here. There's no sniper here. Like, he's got shitheads in the open just fording things up. He's got ATs in the death position on our side. There's nothing we can do. Like, it's suicide to push in anything. And yeah, we're doing LG, like, laser guided bombs. Absolutely useless. And that costs 10 TA for an armor player. Like, give the TA, if you want a laser guided bomb, give it to the fucking support player, guys. And again, no defenses here. And, you know, there's nothing you can do with no inf. Like, that sniper could have been killing this guy. Yeah, so we'll see the consequences of this. We do a desperate nuke because, you know, we figure if there's no inf, like, we might as well not have a town. But there's still so many buildings here. Oh, and we're getting into fuel air bombs again, which is good. So that nuke buys us a little bit, and you know, again, some poor communication. In that case, it was lucky. You know, trying to figure out who's going where. Our air player is getting, like, it's really hard to play tilted. Also, that nuke did not kill all the buildings. Like, fuck. Like, how did this building survive? Yeah, and how did this not get decapped? But yeah, no inf means no line of sight. means no way to see air coming. They're forwarding up research, and all it's going to take for them to really put us down is dumping some inf into here and shutting us out of town completely and permanently. And yeah, Peru just keeps switching. Like, that's some noob shit. Like, I see noobs, you know, playing pubs, switching roles when things aren't going well, and it's just, it reeks of desperation. It just reeks of not knowing. Like, you don't do that shit in match modes. Like I don't want to sound like an asshole, but like, I don't want to play a match mode with players. Like, I don't want to play with match modes with players who don't follow like the simple, who don't, you know, respect the simple logic of certain things in match modes. Like, I'm getting a scout because we have no line of sight. That's how desperate it is, and of course it dies. Or yeah, you know, I flare out of there. Like, I don't mind playing with noobs. If you're a complete raw player, I don't even care. You know, but in these games, like, a single decap can lose you the game. But you know, or some bad TA usage, some bad TA management, like all that shit can lose you games so fast, especially on Seaside, especially playing against these guys. Like, these guys are all ruthless assholes. Like, they're gonna put you down if you make a single mistake. To drop rolls that you've, and especially inf. Like, inf is the most egregious one. Like, you gotta have an inf to win Seaside. Like, you can't win without it. It's a little different in 5v5s. Like, you can change roles in 5v5s, but again, you communicate to your team. You ask them if it's okay. You know, even if, you know, you let them know, like, oh, you start double air in a 5v5, and or usually, like, the inf player, usually if you do double inf in Seaside in a 5v5, and you know that the whole town gets destroyed, one of the inf players goes, you know, air, and that's fine, or then goes armor, that's fine, but you still tell the team, like. But in a 4v4, like, this shit, you know, you can't do anything about it, and it's the easiest thing in the world for them to do this shit, and it's absurd to have to deal with, you know, AT inf in your back. Not a single paradrop on the whole map for our team. Well, obviously the tick is against us now. You know, I'm doing desperate decaps, thinking, you know, it's better than nothing. Oh, I didn't even see how fucking air-to-air is. Brutal. But yeah, they decap this with that AT, and he's just gonna chill in that death position. So, like, could we have come back? Like, I don't see any path to victory once you lose inf. And yeah, you know, it's pissing me off just watching this game. Like, look at that. Like, we tried to kill this fucking AT with a laser guided bomb, and he fucking dodges it. You know, wouldn't it be nice to have instead of spending 10 TA on that, you could have dropped a para and dealt with it. Just brutal. And yeah, and actually, you know, and we'll watch this. We try again to kill it. This guy is like fucking the most. Like, I start shooting at him, trying to kill the building, and scare him away from the fucking laser guided bomb. Just comical, you know. And yeah, like, we're just blobbing here, like, and getting heavy airstruck. You know, beautiful. So kudos to these guys for, like, taking us out. Like, it was a good comeback, but just to diminish, like, don't go beating yourselves off, guys, because, like, we had some retarded plays, some massive throws, like El Grande throws or whatever. Yeah, they were really GG. Like, I was pissed off. Like, I couldn't play after this. Like, unacceptable. Like, I can put up with shit like this in pubs. I come to match modes to have, like, some level of competence and team play, not to put up with this shit. So don't do this. If, you know, I don't know if Peru's gonna learn, but anybody else, like, I'm happy to play with anybody at any skill level as long as you know, follow some, like, level of etiquette in games. Um, but yeah, there's really nothing more I can say. Like, don't do this shit. Don't change roles in a 4v4, and don't ever change roles ever if you're inf, unless you ask your team first. If you don't know what you're doing, just don't, or else you're gonna throw in more games, and I'm gonna rage, and you're gonna be, you know, made fun of in videos. So yeah, thank you guys. Hopefully you can learn some lessons from this, and you know, this is mostly like therapy for me for like, ugh, I hate losing games like that. It's fucking stupid. So yeah, thanks guys. Later.